Welcome all my friends to the most thrilling and adventurous Justice League story, where the Green Lantern is hunted for killing 3 billion people on planet Ajuris, and the Justice League fights off an army of Manhunters to save the Lantern and planet Oa. On the planet of Ajuris 5, a trial takes place with the presence of its citizens and a tribunal of judges. The tribunal of alien judges orders to present the accused, but the commander announces that the accused is still at large, hence the judges order the Manhunters to capture the criminal, and to the great surprise of everyone, the accused is none other than the Earthbound Green Lantern, John Stewart. On Earth, John is walking down the street in his old neighborhood. He sees the old hangouts where people are having a beer while watching the basketball game. He stops suddenly after spotting an ongoing robbery at the local grocery store. John waits outside till the robber tries to flee in his car and just pounds the car and the thief using his power ring, giving the money back to its rightful owner, much to his surprise. Taking his turn at the local basketball court, he tries a failed attempt to dunk a three-pointer while trying to give the ball back to a kid, eventually running into one of his old high school teachers in the process. Meanwhile, back in the watchtower, Flash and Hawkgirl are having a pleasant conversation which turns into a little flirtatious one for obvious reasons, as you know how the Flash can be. As soon as John arrives, they detect the incoming Manhunters and fly to intercept them. Since other League members are busy and Green Lantern has gone missing in action, the 3 members intercept the Manhunters. Manhunters claim that they came to apprehend the Green Lantern, John Stewart. Hearing this, Hawkgirl jumps in to attack the Hunters only to be hurled away with a single blast. John is helpless trying to deal with the Manhunters, and Flash goes thumping down as well. Just when the Manhunters are about to finish off a defeated Hawkgirl, then arrives the Man of Steel, the Superman. He absorbs a few energy blasts, but delivers a good number of heavy punches as well. Superman is able to send 2 of the Manhunters flying off, but unfortunately, he is attacked by the 3rd Manhunter. While waiting for a haircut at the nearby saloon with his high school teacher and his grandson, John hears the huge commotion outside and quickly turns into the Green Lantern and rushes off to check it out. John confronts the Manhunters regarding the havoc they are causing throughout the city and learns that they are here to apprehend him. While the Justice League protests, John Stewart surrenders himself to the Manhunters and agrees to go with them to face trial. The Manhunters take John to the planet Ajuris 5, where he is greeted by a crowd of aliens who vilifies and throws garbage at him. Even the fellow Green Lanterns are disgusted of him. He is kept under a high-security beamlight, just like all the other prisoners. Back at the Watchtower, Jean discovers the thoughts of Green Lantern and locates the Ajuris 5 planet where they took John Stewart. The League arrives at the planet of Ajuris 5 only to be met with a hostile welcome by the guarding forces of the planet. Superman prevents the members from deploying fatal weapons against the Guardian forces, since they do not want any unnecessary problems. They order Flash to take control of the Javelin and fly out to subdue the ongoing attack. Although they had to take brute force to attack the forces, Superman tries not to harm any lives and even saves a crashing fighter jet and the helpless pilots. John Stewart is put on trial for genocide. Justice League arrives and disrupts the proceedings, seeking a seat on the public trial since John Stewart is their friend and colleague. The tribunal agrees and allows them to stay. The prosecution's first witness, space pirate Kanjar Rowe, testifies that he was delivering a shipment of smuggled weapons to the neighboring planet, Ajuris 4, when John pursued him. According to Kanjar, John has continued to attack him after he crash-landed on a deserted planet. While shooting his associates, a stray blast from his ring accidentally hit a vulnerable part of the Ajuris 4 planet's crust, and the entire planet exploded, taking 3 billion lives with it. During a recess, the League confronts John, demanding to know why he hasn't spoken up in his own defense. John says there's nothing to defend and that he's guilty. Despite John's confession, Superman says he's not convinced. He and John Johns take off to investigate the ruins of Ajuris 4, and Flash is ordered to stall the trial. In order to stall the whole trial procedure, Flash speaks out to disrupt the proceedings again, and eventually has to step forward as John's lawyer, despite being warned that he will also be executed if John is sentenced to death. And to the great amusement of everyone, one of the judges explains, that's how they solved their lawyer problem.
I'll defend him.
Very well.
First, I'd like to say a few words about about habeas corpus.
Hawkgirl goes to the public cafeteria and confronts John's comrades from the Green Lantern Corps, but they are unwilling to help him, calling him a disgrace. Angry, Hawkgirl battles 4 of the Lanterns, defeating all 4 who attack without even her mace. Finally, Kilowog, the only Lantern who didn't participate in the fight, agrees with Hawkgirl and decides to go and help in John's defense. Unfortunately, even with glowing character testimony from Kilowog and others, Flash is unable to press his case. As the prosecutor attacks the Lanterns, hence the proceedings become more serious, and the Guardians of the Universe, watching from Oa, decide it is time to intervene themselves. Traveling to Ajuris 5. Superman and John travel to the moon of Ajuris 4 and immediately see something wrong. The moon should have lost its orbit after the planet was destroyed, but it's still there. While investigating a cave, they find an enormous hologram generator, which John says should be able to project the huge destruction that occurred and should be projecting the debris as well. All of a sudden, they are then attacked by Kanjaro, who has followed them, intending on maintaining his secret, but he is brought down by Hawkgirl, who has followed him via one of the space jets of Ajuris 5 Air Force. Back at the trial, after a quick deliberation, John is pronounced guilty, and he and Flash are sentenced to death. They are put into an airtight metal container and filled with gas. Very much like what Adolf Hitler did back in the Second World War, right? Luckily, Superman and John arrive back just before the execution is carried out, and Superman breaks the container and saves Lantern and Flash. On his signal, Hawkgirl destroys the generator and the intact planet reappears. It was all a frame-up. John then pounces on Kanjaro, demanding to know why he did this. Ro confesses that the Manhunters paid him to carry out the charade, intended to draw the Guardians away from Oa. The Justice League then notices Guardians leaving the trial. The Guardians arrive at the Manhunters' base only to find them gone, just as the Justice League finds them. They admit that they built the Manhunters several thousand years ago, before the formation of the Corps, but decommissioned them, as the robots were unable to see the gray area between right and wrong. They reprogrammed the robots for more mundane tasks, but now realize that the Manhunters have been scheming to retake their old power. Meanwhile, planet Oa is under attack by the Manhunters, and the remaining Guardians battle with all their might to keep the defenses up. Unfortunately, the army of Manhunters proves to be too strong to keep at bay, and they break into the planet's defense systems. The League returns to Oa to find it under attack by the Manhunters, who have taken control of the outer defense systems. With the assistance of the other Lanterns, who were convinced by Hawkgirl to help, they batter their way through the defenses, but are too late to prevent the lead Manhunter from entering the central battery, absorbing its power into himself. However, John absorbs the battery's power into his ring, reciting the corpse incantation. Somehow, this has the effect of cleansing the power of the Manhunter's influence and returning it to the battery. The Manhunters are repelled. The Guardians thanked John, telling him that he was worthy of the ring. The other Lanterns apologized for abandoning him, but a still bitter John coldly brushed them off. Restored to honor in the Corps, John leaves Oa with his teammates, whom he appreciates for not giving up on him. Even when John Stewart, the Green Lantern, didn't believe in himself, and when the Lantern Corps abandoned their colleague, the Justice League never stopped believing and trusting their friend. My dear friends, remember always to stick with and by your friends and family if you genuinely love and care for them, and never abandon them just because times get harder and difficult. Hard times make strong people. Don't ever forget that. Thank you for watching Second Look. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more awesome videos. Have a nice day.